of malpractice in recent years. In Kumasi, the Adventist Day Senior High School Center was shut down after dozens of mobile phones were seized from candidates. In Kaswa, 2 impersonators have already been jailed 6 months each. And that is not all. WAEC warns that this is just the beginning. Head of Public Affairs John Kapi says the numbers could climb as investigators deepen and results from affected schools set to undergo forensic scrutiny.
Right. So before the commencement of the examination, we put out the information that we're going to deploy a number of personnel to monitor the examination. We also received a lot of intelligence information about some people who had intentions of cheating. So based on this information, we deployed our personnel over there. And in the course of the examination, we have biometric machines. They're just as big as a mobile phone or a scientific calculator, but that has everybody's data on it. And so when they go there, they use that one, to check each candidate in the hall. It's in the course of this that they discovered that there were some people who actually did not qualify to write the examination or did not register, but were writing the examination on behalf of some other persons. That's how come they got arrested.
And the 14 include teachers, students, invigilators across the country. Is this still 14 or there's an update?
Well, there's an update because I received information from Kumasi that at King's College, for example, there was this gentleman called Louis Frimpong, who was arrested for impersonating Godfred Amwa. So he also has been handed over to the police. In the Upper West region, to be specific, I'm told that a teacher was arrested. He had made himself the administrator of a WhatsApp group, and then he would come early. While invigilating, he takes a snapshot of the question papers and then circulates that on the WhatsApp group and then collects information, responses from those people, and then, assist the candidates in the examination. So these are 2 additional arrests that we are told have been made. We are still monitoring reports coming from the field, and as and when we have them, we'll put them in the public domain.
So now the number stands at 16 arrests.
At 16 years. We've done just about a couple of weeks. We have a couple of weeks to go. But then these are situations where arrests have been made. We have not even put out issues of, photocopied responses. We have not put out issues of prepared notes and so on and so forth. So if we put all of that together, that probably would let us know what is happening. But then certainly the trend doesn't look good. From all the areas that we have received information, we are, as we mentioned in the press briefing this morning, we have taken note of all of these centers, and we are going to scrutinize their scripts very, very carefully so that we ensure that we are not awarding grades to people who do not deserve them.
Well, let's explore this further. My colleague Kenneth Jesse joins me in the studio with details of this major bust. Kenneth, what else do we know?
Well, Fostina, the arrest spanned several centers, from Yeji Senior High School to Abord College in Asante Bekwai and Achema Kwanguma Presbyterian Senior High School. In Kumasi, for example, the Adventist Day Senior High School Center was shut down after mobile phones flooded the exam hall, while students there have since been relocated to WAEC's regional office under tight surveillance. Well, the clampdown spread further. In Kaswa, 2 impersonators were each sentenced to 6 months in jail, while an accomplice received an 8-month sentence. In Kukrentumi, a school proprietor and teacher are accused of running a WhatsApp syndicate, leaking exam questions. And in Abradunkwao, one Ebenezer Finn was arrested for impersonation and is now assisting investigators.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. With the council under scrutiny, WAEC is pointing fingers at teachers, accusing them of betraying their duty and vowing sanctions against every educator caught aiding these malpractices.
Well, I think that our teachers have disappointed us because this year, for example, we have held stakeholder engagements across the country. We have received information and areas where we needed to reinforce as far as our status as an examining body is we have done. We have also solicited the support of all and sundry, chiefs, the media, education authorities, private schools, name them. We've been to all of these places and we've tried to appeal to them to assist us. We've also had heads of school and supervisors sign an undertaking, to help with the, conduct of the examination by sticking to the rules governing the exam.
Right.
Unfortunately, what is coming to us indicates probably that they feel, well, it is just one of the things that we've been doing as usual. So business as usual, if you want. And so it's not going to have any effect. But I think that people should note, first of all, what the Director General told everybody before the commencement of the BEC, that teachers will be sanctioned for the roles they play in examination malpractices. Before the commencement of the written papers of the WASSCE, the Minister of Education announced that the issue of mobile phones should be a thing of the past and that they will deal decisively with anybody who is found culpable. I guess that people are simply being recalcitrant and they want to treat this as something trivial, and so they'll go ahead and do whatever they are doing.
Well, the issue of examination malpractice is not confined to WASSCE. A Joy News investigation has uncovered how some officials of the Ghana Education Service colluded with invigilators and candidates to cheat during the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination, BCE. At the Derby Avenue RC Basic School in Accra, for instance, as little as 60 Ghana cedis was enough to smuggle in mobile phones into the exam hall, where candidates used artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT and even received solved questions directly from invigilators.
While preparing exam materials for candidates to commence writing, invigilators were invited by the supervisor to a meeting with the headmistress of the host school, Derby Avenue RC. She announced a daily 60 cedis gift for each invigilator for the duration of the examination.
We said we have exactly for you 60 cedis a day, which is 50 Ghana a day. They'll give it to you, or we should be making it every day 60 Ghana, every day 60 Ghana. So that you know we are stated for you for the week, because we are public schools.
We would like to take this daily.
Daily?
Yes. What do you say?
So after the paper, we'll bring it.
Yes.
Candidates were also instructed to give their invigilators money at the end of every day's examination. At the St. George's Anglican Basic School Exams Center, payment was made in bulk. The supervisor handed envelopes containing 400 cedis to each invigilator.
Any payment that is made in the course of the examination to an invigilator, a supervisor, is illegal. It is not coming from WAEC. WAEC does not pay money in the course of the examination. We don't do that.
Not many schools wrote the final paper, so for the centers investigated, the exams ended on the 17th of June 2025. Days earlier, candidates at Derby Avenue were informed to prepare financially for an offertory called the Aseda Offertory, which will be collected before the start of the final papers at the center. This offertory was meant to thank invigilators for their assistance in the examination. On the morning of the final paper, the invigilator who announced the Aseda Offertory the previous day, who later got the nickname Sir Aseda, would move from one exam hall to another with a box for collection of the offertory. Candidates were asked to pay 5 cedis or above. The total amount collected was shared among the invigilators.
That one we will give you some after the next one. So this one is as I want to give you.
You heard the excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary, The Dark World of BC, and it airs on Monday, 8th of September on the Joy News channel on Joy Prime as well as here on Joy FM. It's produced by investigative journalist Francisca Enchil. explore this further here on Top Story. Join me now is John Capiz, Director of Public Affairs at WAEC. I also have with me Kwesi Nimo. He is Junior Programs Officer and WAEC Monitoring Lead at EduWatch. Later, joining me on the show would be Dr. Kingsley Ajiman. He's member of the Education Select Committee in Parliament. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Let me start with you, John Capiz. As at the last time we checked, 16 arrests so far. Any updates?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. No, for now, we don't have any additional arrests reported yet.
And it's quite worrying what we are seeing. Teachers and invigilators implicated in this scandal. And I know that WAEC, you have a vetting procedure when it comes to selecting invigilators and supervisors. How did that safeguard even fail in the first place?
First of all, we need to understand, the principle behind the people that we use for invigilation purposes. For those who do invigilation, they are supposed to be teachers who are teaching. And according to the rules of the Ghana Education Service, the invigilation that they do is an extension of what they do in the classroom. And so it is not for us to, if you want to go and interview them to establish their suitability or otherwise. They are people who are actively teaching. They have conducted internal assessment, and so technically they are qualified to watch over the young ones as they write their examination.
I see. And you're warning that you'd be doing some sort of forensic scrutiny when it comes to areas where you identify this various forms of malpractices. What timelines are you giving, and how should we ensure that individuals who wrote legitimately will not be affected?
Obviously, the systems that we have are such that they are able to determine who is culpable and who is not culpable. And it's a painstaking job just so that we do not shortchange the honest ones, or maybe cheat those who have done independent work. And so the job will certainly be done, and done very well. We have a list of institutions that have been suspected of cheating. We also have these ones that we've already presented to the media. So we are preparing a tall list of all these institutions, and at the appropriate time, we are going to provide the list to our people who are working with us. And so this script will be specifically selected, and then we will do our scrutiny as we've been doing over the years.
I see that you are adopting the name and shame approach. How effective is that for you?
For now, we cannot tell the result yet because these are early days yet as far as exams are concerned. But obviously, we believe that going forward, this is going to have an effect on people who are mandated to watch over these examinations. A number of areas in this country are quite far and not easily accessible. So it is not possible for you to have someone at that particular place every single day to ensure that, these things will not go on. So it is possible that for them they have a field day. But then we have informants also, and we are thankful to all of them. They provided adequate information. And so of all these institutions, we are going to ensure that we will scrutinize their scripts so that we do not award grades, as I said earlier, to people who do not deserve them.
But let's do a regional breakdown. Based on the figures you have so far, the 16 of them, which regions are the worst affected?
For now, we have Ashanti Central region, and then Eastern. And then we also have Bono East. These are the areas where I've not done the breakdown yet, but then I believe that these are early days. And so when we get the full complement, we'll be able to do a breakdown so that people get to know exactly where these malpractice issues are coming from.
And the concerns been raised really about WhatsApp syndicates and the use of AI tools during exams and invigilators allowing this slide. How do we deal with this moving forward?
First of all, there is no let me say that we have put out these rules for very obvious reasons. The fact that candidates will have to be searched before they go into the examination hall, the fact that we do that sensitization and we bring everybody on board on radio, meeting with the candidates one-on-one, just to tell them that these are the infractions and these are the penalties, thereof. So we believe that if the invigilators were doing what exactly they had to do, the candidates wouldn't have the power, to take these mobile phones into the examination halls and then do whatever it is that they are doing. Maybe, just maybe, the teachers are also beneficiaries of some of these activities.
And this is a worrying trend, really, because if teachers and invigilators are involved, then the integrity of WASSCE in itself is under scrutiny. How do we trust that the results from that exam is actually the actual performance of students who partake in the exams?
Well, that is why we have instituted, or we already have this system of scrutiny, because in the course of marking, it is obvious. So we just finished with BEC, and for those whose results is cancelled, you see clearly, traces of cheating, traces of collusion in their scripts. There are some cases where even for the candidates, they left the photocopied material that they copied from in their answer booklets, So our scrutiny is what is going to determine whether indeed we're able to detect those who have cheated or not. And so the scrutiny we are going to do certainly will enable us weed out a lot of the people who may have received assistance from other sources.
Mr. Kapi, stay with me. Let me bring in Kwesi Nimo, Junior Programs Officer and WAEC Monitoring Lead at EduWatch. We appreciate your time here on Top Story. I've just been going through a data you released, just showing the trend when it comes to cancelled results from the year 2022 up till date. It appears 2025, the trend completely flipped. Cancellation more than doubled to 895 candidates. Tell me more about this and how it's affecting our educational system.
Right. So this goes to confirm the stringent measures that WAEC has in place for the marking of their scripts. Because the brouhaha we are hearing with arrests being made and prosecutions being made constitutes just about 2% of the malpractices that are reported or that are recorded. Because in the exams, these things happen during the exams. But then the scripts that are being written, the marking is what reveals the others. For instance, as you've seen, we've had the case that out of the 100% of malpractices that are recorded, only 2% comes out during the exams, and 98% is what we are seeing when WAEC releases their results. We acknowledge that WAEC has a challenge due to their personnel inadequacy. That is why, as a supportive measure, if the scripts that are being marked review or there are stringent measures to ensure that the scripts that are being marked are scrutinized properly, that is where we have some form of consolation. Because as John Kapi mentioned, they have measures in place to ensure that during script marking, some of these issues come out. As I indicated in there, we acknowledge that WAEC has a challenge due to their personnel inadequacy. WAEC is unable to deploy far and wide due to their staff deficits of over 200. When WAEC officials available cannot be everywhere, once they are somewhere, the other centers that they aren't tend to be free, and these issues tend to happen. We have established in our monitoring and previous reports that WAEC's presence at centers is sometimes a deterrent factor to curbing malpractices during the exam, because we are aware from our monitors that once schools hear that WAEC officials are going to be coming or on their way or whatnot, you see the order that is being put in place. And so we are confident that if WAEC's capacity is enhanced and they are made available at all centers at all times during the examinations, we will be able to put away the challenge of their non-presence, because we are confident, due to the reports we get from our monitors, that WAEC's presence at centers is a contributing factor to sometimes the malpractices not happening. By this, we recommend that their capacity be enhanced at all centers so that going forward, they would enhance their monitoring of the exams as and when it's going on. But one challenge we have is the use of...
Just before you make that point, the concern by most critics of the entire system, because WASSCE and WAEC, they say that they have put in place measures to stop malpractice, but it appears that integrity is far from the students. We see that they are compelled to cheat. And we're wondering why. Should we consider moving forward, probably introducing CCTV camera in our exam halls, just to help some of these cases?
Well, since we started monitoring WASSCE formally in 2019, as part of our repeated recommendations, introducing CCTV as part of supervision of the exams has been key. Right before the WASSCE this year, we submitted a memo to the minister and reiterated this point, because even when there are as many vigilators as possible, they can't see around. So when we have CCTV technology, that helps the invigilation, that supports the invigilation, the manpower that is deployed. So that being an option, and also the non-use of GES staff, or let's say teachers, would also be a contributing factor. Because let's be frank, or let's place the issues there. Teachers have a vested interest in the outcome of the examinations because they are teaching these words, and when the results don't go their way, it affects their work. Head teachers are also given KPIs, which are WASSCE pass rate KPIs, which is also a contributing factor to some of the syndicates that have arisen in the last year since we started monitoring the WASSCE effectively. So these two are contributing factors. The limited surveillance is also a contributing factor. So yes, CCTV, but then let's ensure that we enhance WAEC's scope. Because if WAEC has the capacity to be at every center, and WAEC has the capacity to deploy its own invigilators, and not GES staff as invigilators, we know these issues that we see or are being reported all the time would not vanish.
Okay, thank you so much, Kwesi. Stay with me. Let me bring in Dr. Kingsley Ajiman. He's member of the Education Select Committee in Parliament. We appreciate your time here on Top Story. And you are a member of the Education Committee, and I'm sure you're interested in what is happening in our educational scene. Should we expect any hearing or inquiry into this when Parliament resumes?
Yeah, thank you very much, and a very good evening to you and your cherished listeners. I think it's an unfortunate thing that has reared its head up again. This is not the first time examination of practices has happened. But I think it's about time we have a relook or a rethink about our assessment criteria. You will agree with me that more practices ever since we were in school and we were writing exams has always been there. But our mode of assessment hasn't changed that much. How does people go to basic school, spend about 9 years in school, and they are giving just about 3 hours to be assessed? Don't you think we should have a rethink about our assessment criteria? I think we have to look at that in terms of policy. Because if you don't change the modus operandi by virtue of maybe the kind of questions and how they are asked and how we ask them to present it to examiners, these things will continue to happen. I mean, it's very unfortunate that, back in the days, you didn't have invigilators getting involved in this more practice. It looks as if that is what is happening now. It's very unfortunate, and Parliament, with its oversight responsibility, definitely will take an action.
And then we're just hearing from EduWatch propose that we should introduce CCTV and digital monitoring, especially in our exams hall. Will Parliament support budgetary allocations to such? Such a proposition is an ideal, but it's oversimplified. Look at the number of examination centers that we have across the length and breadth of the country. You want to fix CCTVs all over? We have to look at a preventive measure. Did you get it? CCTVs are not preventive. The act can still happen. But if you look at the way we assess them, the kind of questions, they didn't have to even answer on the question paper.
where every person will be given a different question, kind of, but within the same thematic area, so that you are seated next to me, but the kind of questions I'm answering are quite different from yours. Did you get it? So we have to have a rethink of the exams questions and how they are made to present them. A CCTV over 1,000 examination centers. You use it once and for all, like for examination period. You don't use it again. It is there. Maintenance and stuff like that. I think it may be an oversimplified proposition.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kingsley Ajuman is member of the Education Select Committee in Parliament. Let me just wrap up with John Kapi, just 1 minute. You've heard the major concerns that has been raised. Is it something that you may be looking into moving forward?
Obviously, we would have to look at all of these things and then probably devise means of, curbing them. I think that the issue of us having invigilators who are independent of those institutions is something that has come up and it's worth considering. Is that a matter of the education authorities allowing us to go that way and then allowing us also to have a little increase in examination fees so as to make it possible for us to, take care of the cost of having to engage, private invigilators.
Thank you so much, John Kapi. He is Head of Public Affairs for WAEC. And that's how we wrap up Top Story. Thank you so much. Earlier, joined me on the show was Kwesi Nimo Jr. from EduWatch. We appreciate your time. My name is Fostina Sarfo. I'm handing over the baton to my one and only colleague, Kweku Asante. You should stick and stay with Joy FM because he'll be bringing you Ghana.